Hi everyone, this is Celia. Today's video is going to be about choosing a new notebook. I'm currently in this Leuchtturm and I'm actually almost done. Probably have a couple more days left in it. And I did already choose which notebook I wanted to do next, but I kind of wanted to share my process with you, so here we go. I made a list of the things I consider in my head before I choose a new notebook. These are the three notebooks, the blank notebooks I currently have with me. So I do know what I'll be using next, as I said, but here's my process. So in no particular order, I think about the size. As some of you know, have been following me for a while, I was using a lot of smaller notebooks. I'm now currently back to mostly using A5. That seems to be what works for me right now. Other things to consider are the cover. I like mostly plain covers. If there's anything on it, I just want like one small thing. I don't like words on my covers usually. So that's another thing. The thickness of the notebook. So this one is actually pretty thick. I've never used this brand before, but I do have a couple blank ones of this. This is M. Shoy, which you can get from Amazon. But I probably wouldn't want a notebook any thicker than this one. Let me see if I can see how many pages it is. It doesn't say. Does it say over here? No, it doesn't say. I'm sure it says on Amazon, but whatever. So I wouldn't want it way too thick because I do get bored of things. And then mostly I don't like them too thin either. I do from time to time use Traveler's notebooks, which are pretty thin. So it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Another thing I consider is the brand. I'm pretty brand loyal, although I use a variety of brands, but I've been using a couple of Leuchtturms. Like I said, I've never used this brand before, but I do have, I think I have like 3 of them. And then this is Archer and Olive. I've used that brand before. But I kind of rotate between the same brands. Like, I'm not someone who will go into a store and just buy a journal unless it's like a brand I trust or know about. Does the notebook spark joy? Because sometimes you buy it and you're really excited about it, and then you're looking for a new notebook and you're like, yeah, I'm not feeling that. Like, I was looking at some of the blank notebooks I have in my storage unit, and one of the ones I pulled out was sort of a bright pink moleskin, and I was like, I don't know. And that's how I ended up with this Archer and Olive, even though it has a raven on the cover, which some would think would be Halloween. I kind of like creepy Halloween type things all year, so that is the notebook I picked out of this like bag of blank notebooks I had. So is it sturdy? I do a lot of writing. I like to stick things in the back, so it's got to be a notebook that can hold up to that. Again, paper quality is always a consideration. And mostly I don't use spirals. I've been using some of those little notebooks, little spiral notebooks, but mostly I wouldn't use a spiral if I feel like it's going to fall apart. Another consideration is fountain pen friendly. I am a fountain pen user, and I really do like to use my fountain pens a lot, unless I'm kind of like on the go and it's not a good situation and I'm afraid they're going to get broken. But my notebook has to be fountain pen friendly. I mean, if it's not, I do have my gel pens and stuff and I can use those, but I feel like I tend to do more long-term or long-form writing with fountain pens, so I kind of feel sad if I can't use them, like in my Moleskines. So that's a consideration. Also, what is the paper situation? I don't mind if it's white or if it's cream, or that doesn't bother me. But what I do like, this one's a dot grid. I did pick out a dot grid. I usually like either dot grid or lines. I don't like blank notebooks. So, because I have big handwriting and I feel like it just gets bigger if I don't have some kind of, form. Sometimes it gets a little big with the dot grid, but I don't like blank. I also tend to write like on a slope if I don't have lines. These are all dot grids. So, is it lifestyle friendly? So I'm doing a lot of writing on the go, and I feel like you'd think maybe a traveler's notebook or something small would work, but just the way my life is going right now, I really need a bigger notebook. It's just easier to grab out of my bag. So that is what I've been using lately. But if I was not writing on the go so much, then I might want something smaller. It depends on kind of what my life is like at the current time. Seasonal. I don't tend to pick notebooks based on the season. I know a lot of people have like Christmas notebooks, or even this one could be a Halloween. I might lean towards something in October, but because I don't do monthly journals, I may not be in this one in October. I mean, I did kind of pick this one out for July, but I will be starting it sooner because I'm almost done with the one I'm in now. So because I don't do monthly journals, it's all kind of flexible. I never know how far I'll be in a certain notebook. So again, I might pick something kind of seasonal. Like I usually tend to do something green in March because St. Patrick's Day is one of my favorite holidays, and I do tend to do something, I don't know, somewhat related to Halloween because I love Halloween. But otherwise, no, I just kind of go with what I'm feeling. And then my last thing that I really consider is along the lines of brands, is if it's familiar to me. I find that if I am just buying something because I see everybody else buying it, it doesn't necessarily work out for me. So that's why I'm so brand loyal with my notebooks. Like the Leuchtturm, everybody's been using these for years, and I never did. And I finally started using it and now I love them, but I tend to be more comfortable with what I know. So, and then I feel like I don't have to adjust because it's already familiar. So those are things I consider when choosing a notebook. Let me know down below what you consider when choosing a notebook. And I know a lot of people do their journaling different, so maybe you do like decorations on the cover, whereas I don't. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to choose a notebook. I'm just talking about what works for me. Maybe you choose seasonal notebooks. Maybe there's a certain color you always like. Maybe you stick with the same brand all the time. I'd love to hear what your experience is, so please leave me a comment down below, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.